Hello guys, this is Rohan. Continuing with the basics, today we'll be learning one more element in the layout which is called a spinner, which is basically a drop down list. So quickly create a new Android project called as drop down. Click next. The target is Android 2.2. The package name I will give it as com.rohan.spinner. Spinner is basically the drop down list. We'll be editing the layout first. This is the text view which is given by default. Here is the spinner. Let's add it. Also we'll be adding a text box. Basically what we are going to do is select an item from this drop down list and view the selected item in this text view. For that we need to copy that item into a string and we have to change the text of the text view. To open the properties, go to Windows, show view other, and then click on properties and OK. Now spinner is looking okay. We'll be changing the properties of the text view. Let's add its width as fill parent and make its weight as 1 so that it occupies the whole screen. Now the text view is not looking good at the corner, so I'll be adjusting its gravity as center. Also its text size to 30 dp so that it is big. Also we need to assign the IDs for both because we need to implement on-click listener for the drop-down list and we need to change the text of the text view. So click on the spinner and give its ID. I will be giving it as SP, and for the text view I will be giving the ID as TV. So just save this file. Now we will be going to the Java drop-down activity which we have created. So just define the spinner and the text view. Spinner will be spinner itself. This is just the name, you can give any. The text view, I'll name it as text itself. Now we need to give the IDs for both. So spinner will have its ID as r.id.sp. Similarly you give an ID for text view and view by ID r.id.tv as we have given in XML. Now we need array adapter for this. Array adapter will be defining our drop down list, all the array from the strings in the drop down list, and also it will assign an ID for each position because we need an ID when an item is clicked so that we recognize that which of the item is clicked. So I will be defining an array adapter. It is asking for the input, so whether it is in character sequence or integer. So in our case it is character sequence. Let's give its name as adapter itself. Now to create an array adapter we have a method called as array adapter dot create from resource. Here it is. Let's just close this properties. The context will be this, as it is calling the same drop down activity. Now the text array res ID we don't have, so we need to create it because we haven't defined any array and layout for this array adapter, the drop down list. In the layout you can create it in the layout folder and give it over here. The text view res ID is the layout for the spinner. Now this line basically defines an array adapter for this spinner. So we need to give all the parameters for this spinner. Now text array will be the array, so I'll give its id as r dot array dot name it as spinner array. Now spinner array is just a name and it is of type array, and the text view res id will be the layout for this spinner. Now this spinner is this, here it is. Now we need a layout for that. We don't have an layout because we haven't defined any in the layout folder, so we'll need to take it from the default folder, which is android.r.layout dot. You have many options, select any. Just make sure that it should be for the spinner. I'll be selecting simple spinner item. Now this defines an array adapter. Now we need to define the drop down list, for which I'll write adapter dot set drop down view resource, and it is asking for an resource which is basically the layout for the drop down list. So this also we don't have. I will be taking it from the default folder as android.r.layout dot. Now make sure that the id is for drop down list. Simple spinner drop down item, here it is. So this basically defines an drop down list. Now we need to attach this array adapter to our spinner, which we have defined it over here. So for that I will write spinner dot set adapter is the method, and our name of the adapter is adapter itself, so I'll keep it like that. Also now we need to set an on item click listener for our spinner. For that I'll write spinner dot set on click listener, but we cannot write on click listener because an item is to be selected from a list. This is not just one button to be selected, so I'll not write on click listener. For that I'll write on item selected listener, which will be basically selecting an item from a list. Now it is asking for a listener, we don't have. I'll define it as new, and you can write on item selected listener, but to be different I'll be calling a class. So let's name the class as function, and we'll be defining a new class for that. Now it is giving me two errors. What is an array? It is giving me suggestion that create a field array in type R. Now R is in the gen folder, here it is r.java. Now this is an auto generated file, so we cannot modify it. Also if we create a array field in type R, it's of no use because we cannot give the strings into it. Now array will be collection of our strings, so I will define it in strings.xml, here it is. So if I press control space, here it is string array, and we need to give name to string array as what we have given in the Java file. Here it is, this spinner array. Just copying it and paste it over here. Make sure that you write in double quotes, because every name which we write in the XML file has to be written in the quotes. Now if we save this file, see the error has gone. Now we don't have an item, so I'll be defining an item into it. The first item will be the spinner. Now these are strings which we will view in the drop down list. Just copy and paste to add more items. You can add as many as you want. I'll be adding 4. The next will be the drop down Next will be the Android. Let's add fourth as Rohan and just save this file. Now we need to define a class named as function. So for that, just move your mouse over the function and it will ask to create a class. So just click on it. Now the folder will be dropdown.src. Now we will not be creating another Java file for that. We will club the two Java files, the function and the dropdown activity. For that, just check on enclosing type so that it will enclose the class function into the dropdown activity. Also it will implement the on item selected listener. So just click finish and here it is. Just cut this and paste it down over here after the on create bundle. Make sure that you don't paste in the on create bundle. So if you minimize, still we can see this, so it's outside. So now this is our class function which is implementing on item selected listener. It is having two methods. One is the on item selected, another is on nothing selected. On nothing selected we don't have to do anything, so I will keep it empty. The on item selected has various parameters. The first one I will rename it as parent. Now this is the adapter view. It will be calling the adapter view from the main class. The second is the arg1, which is the view, which is default. The int will be giving us the position of the item, so I'll write pos, and the long will be defining its id. As I have said that adapter will give an id to each item. So now we have to copy the contents of that item and set the text of the text view as string. So define a string. I'll name it as str. Now I will be taking from the parent, which is calling our array adapter, dot get item. Here it is, get item at position. As we are having the position as defined it over here, so our position is POS and we have to copy it to a string, so I will be writing to string. So now our string str has the content of that item. Now we need to set the text view. I will write text dot set text. This is easy. To str, which is a string. I'll be closing it. So here's our program. Just make sure that this r.layout.simple spinner item is the layout for the spinner, and spinner drop down item is the layout for the drop down list. Don't get confused. Quickly let's run this program. Here is our emulator. Let it boot. Here it is. Let's just unlock the phone and wait for activity to start. In the console we can see what's happening. Now it is installing. Here it is. By default our first item from the list is selected and the text is set to that. If we click on this, we get a drop down list. Here it is. If I select Android, our text will be set to Android. If I select drop down, our text will be set to drop down. So this is it. In the next tutorial we will be making an application for various bookmarks, and when we click on any of the bookmarks, our internet browser will be opening. Thank you.